You ever have one of those days where you think, well, it can't possibly get worse, and then the universe says, hold my coffee? Yeah, that was me. The week after surgery, stitches still fresh, stuck at home, and just praying for peace. Didn't seem like much to ask, but then, I don't live in just any neighborhood. I live in a place run by an HOA, and let me tell you, our president is the kind of person who'd measure your grass with a ruler just to feel alive. Her name's Karen. I know, you can't make this stuff up. So here's the scene. I'm sore, tired, and on painkillers, and my nurse, Emily, is supposed to come by 3 times a week, check the stitches, keep me from keeling over, the usual. Emily's a pro. The kind of calm, gentle voice you want around when your body feels like it's been hit by a truck. But of course, the very first day she shows up, it's like the universe hit the unleash chaos button. Emily pulls up, steps out with her medical bag, and before she can even say hello, Karen materializes like she's been lying in wait behind a bush. I'm watching from the porch, feeling that sense of dread. You know the one. When you see a train wreck about to happen and you can't look away. Karen blocks Emily right there on the sidewalk. Excuse me, who are you? You can't just walk onto someone's property without HOA clearance. She's got her phone out, already taking pictures, as if Emily's rolling up with a bag of explosives instead of bandages. Emily, bless her, tries to keep it together. I'm a registered nurse, here to see my patient. Karen fires back. That's not how this works. All visitors must be logged with the HOA. Medical bags are a liability. What if you bring in hazardous waste? I swear, I almost choked on my own spit. From my porch, I call out, Karen, she's with me. She's supposed to be here, but Karen just stands her ground, phone in hand, ready to file a report. Emily, who's probably dealt with every kind of grumpy patient imaginable, looks genuinely baffled. Ma'am, interfering with medical care can have serious consequences. That just fires Karen up more. Don't threaten me. I run this neighborhood. You know what I mean? Sometimes you hear those words and realize, oh, this isn't just power tripping. This is her hobby. My stitches start throbbing, my patients even more so. I force myself to stand up, gripping the railing. Karen, if you don't move, I'll be calling the police myself. That finally makes her budge, but not before she snaps a few photos of Emily's license plate, muttering under her breath like she's the sheriff of Mayberry. Emily just shakes her head. I've had difficult patients, never a difficult neighbor. Oh, if only she knew what was coming, that you'd think that would be the end of it, right? Nope. Next visit, I'm hoping maybe Karen found someone else's recycling bin to inspect, but as soon as Emily parks, carefully, mind you, God forbid a tire touches the curb, Karen's back. This time, she's armed with a clipboard, phone dangling from a lanyard like a badge of honor. You again? I told you, you're not authorized. Emily just sighs. Ma'am, my patient's health comes first. Karen starts writing. Unapproved vendor. Possible hazardous waste. Parking violation. I'm on the porch like, Karen, she's not mowing the lawn. She's literally here, so I don't get an infection. But that logic doesn't make a dent. Here's the twist. Karen calls the police. Not even joking. Dials the non-emergency line. Reports an unauthorized medical worker trespassing. I'm furious. Karen, you're wasting everyone's time. Emily keeps her cool, but you can tell she's done with the nonsense. 2 officers show up, and Karen runs to meet them like she's reporting a bank robbery. There she is. She's not approved. The cops look at Emily, then at me. Sir, is this your nurse? I nod. They look at Karen, visibly annoyed. Ma'am, unless you've got proof of a crime, HOA rules are not laws. You could see Karen's brain short-circuiting. But instead of backing down, she doubles down. That's just Karen's way. For the next week, every time Emily comes by, Karen's car is parked down the street, sometimes following her slow as molasses, recording on her phone. One morning, Emily walks up and Karen jumps out from behind a hedge with a stack of HOA printouts. Medical professionals are not exempt from access approval. You're in violation. Emily's patience is wearing thin. Ma'am, I'm here for my patient. Step aside. Karen leans in. Not unless you show me what's in that bag. Could be drugs, for all I know. I nearly lose it. Karen, You can't demand to search her medical kit. That's a violation of privacy and about a dozen laws. Karen, of course, isn't hearing it. I'll call the health department. You'll be shut down tonight. Emily, trying to ignore her, gets inside, but she's rattled. Not 10 minutes later, Karen's back, this time with two HOA board members. One looks embarrassed, the other just annoyed. Karen's in full attack mode, demanding to inspect illegal activity. Emily blocks the door. You have no right to interfere with medical care. Karen threatens to livestream, waving her phone, ready to show the whole block what criminal activity looks like. Emily's had enough. She dials 911. I'd like to report someone interfering with medical care. This is harassment and endangering my patient's recovery. Now it's Karen's turn to look scared. When the police arrive again, the air is thick enough to cut. Karen paces, suddenly not so brave, and the board members melt into the background, realizing they've picked the wrong side. Emily stands her ground, explains it all to the officers. Karen tries her best. She's violating HOA rules. I'm the president. The cop barely looks at her. Ma'am, HOA rules don't override state law. If you've been interfering with medical treatment, that's a crime. Karen turns red. I have notes. Suspicious behavior, parking violations. The officer just shakes his head. Those aren't crimes, ma'am. But what you've done might be. Emily shows her credentials, calm and steady. The cop turns to Karen. You can walk away, or we'll proceed with charges. But Karen, predictably, can't let it go. No, she's bringing danger into our homes. That's when the handcuffs come out. The look on her face, shock, outrage, complete disbelief. You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president, she shrieks. The board members just stare. One of them whispers, told her this was too much. Neighbors peek out from behind curtains, watching their self-proclaimed queen get walked out to the cruiser. The street's never been so quiet. Emily finally lets herself smile. Well, that should settle it. And you know what? It did. The HOA scrambled to distance themselves from Karen, and I finally got to focus on healing, no longer worrying if my nurse would get tackled before she reached the porch. But here's the thing. The neighborhood changed after that. Some folks cheered, others grumbled about rules, but everybody started to look at the HOA a little differently. Makes you wonder, where's the line between keeping order and just plain harassment? And who gets to decide? Let me know. Was Karen a necessary evil, or did she get what she deserved? Drop your take down below, because I know everyone's got a story about a power-hungry neighbor. And hey, if you ever see a nurse at my door again, maybe just wave. She's probably got enough to deal with already. So you'd think, after Karen's spectacular meltdown and those cuffs clicking shut on her wrists, everything would finally settle down around here. But you know how it goes. Neighborhoods remember, grudges linger, and the whole HOA system, it just kind of mutated for a while. Some folks acted like Karen had been a martyr, whispering about losing control of the block, while others, honestly, most of us, just breathed easier, hoping peace and quiet would last. But here's the kicker, and you probably saw this coming. Karen may have been gone, but her influence? Oh, it stuck around like a bad smell in the summer. The board scrambled to clean up, sending out apologetic emails about improved procedures and respecting medical privacy. Still, there was this uneasy tension, like the whole place was holding its breath, waiting to see who'd step into her shoes. And man, did we ever get a surprise. See, about a week after the whole fiasco, as I'm finally healing up and Emily's visits are mercifully uneventful, this new face pops up at the HOA meeting. Tall, sharp suit, name's Brad. Never saw him before. Turns out, he's been living on the other end of the block, traveling for work, never bothered with HOA drama until now. He stands up in front of the crowd, clears his throat, and for a second, I think, here we go again, another wannabe dictator. But then Brad says, maybe it's time the HOA started working for the people living here, not against them. Anyone else tired of these power games? You could feel the room shift, you know? Even old Mrs. Decker from 2 doors down, who used to print out HOA bylaws for fun, sat up a little straighter. And just like that, Brad gets voted in as interim president, mostly because nobody else wants the headache. But here's where things take a weird turn. At first, it's all sunshine and rainbows. He brings donuts to the next meeting, starts a community garden initiative, even asks folks for input before making any decisions. Feels almost normal. Then, out of nowhere, little incidents start cropping up. My mailbox gets knocked off its post one night. Emily's car, which she's still using to check on a couple of elderly folks nearby, suddenly has a flat tire, nothing stolen, just slashed. And then, this one evening, I catch Brad outside, flashlight in hand, poking around the side of my house. I call out, "Everything all right?" And he freezes, smiles that tight politician smile, says, "Oh, just making sure nobody's tampered with the water main. Old pipes, you know." But there's something in his eyes, a flicker, like maybe he knows more than he's letting on. Let me back up a sec. All this time, I've been thinking Karen was a one-woman wrecking crew, but turns out, power just kind of seeps into the cracks, finds new hosts. Brad, he's smoother about it, doesn't shout or wave his phone, but there's this watchfulness. Emily mentions she's noticed a few other folks being hassled, too. Anonymous complaints about parking, lawn violations, even unusual guests. It's like the HOA paranoia is contagious.so. I decide to do a little digging. Turns out, Brad used to work in corporate compliance. The guy's entire job was enforcing rules, bending them, making them stick. No wonder he slid into this role so easy. I talked to a couple neighbors. People are nervous. Nobody wants another Karen drama, but they're starting to feel uneasy. Even Emily's got this look, like she's always checking over her shoulder. One afternoon, she tells me, if I get another bogus call about my credentials, I might just stop doing house calls in this whole zip code. That hits me harder than I expected. People shouldn't have to choose between their job and their safety, you know? And then comes the real twist. Late one night, I hear a commotion outside. Lights, voices, someone yelling. I drag myself to the window, and there's Brad, arguing with a young guy I've never seen before, delivery driver, looks shaken. Turns out, Brad flagged him down, demanded ID, claimed he looked suspicious delivering a late-night food order to Mrs. Decker's house. The kid's just trying to earn a living. I watch as the argument heats up, and suddenly, a bunch of us are out on our porches, watching this mess unfold. Nobody's saying a word at first. Finally, Mrs. Decker herself, 82 years old, walks out with her robe tied tight and just lays into Brad in front of the whole street. This isn't your kingdom, young man. You don't decide who belongs and who doesn't. I swear, it was the best moment since Karen got hauled off. And you know what? That night changed things. The next day, there's a petition going around. People want the HOA reformed, less snooping, more community, more real conversations. Brad resigns before the week is out. Emily, she decides to keep working here, says it's the first time she's felt like neighbors actually have her back. I finally get a good night's sleep. No more weird shadows on the street. No more threats for having the wrong visitors. But I'll say this. You never really know what's brewing beneath the surface in a place that prides itself on order. You can toss out a Karen, vote in a Brad, print 1,000 new rules. But if people don't look out for each other, it all comes back sooner or later. So what do you think? Are HOAs doomed to be a circus? Or can folks really take back their neighborhoods? Have you ever seen power change hands and actually make things better? Drop your stories down below. I want to hear what happened on your block. And hey, next time someone knocks at your door with a medical bag or a pizza, maybe open up with a little kindness. You never know what kind of drama you're saving them from.